All right, just feeling great today. Just came out of some barber. And if you really want to boost your mood, I strongly suggest you go there more often. Really boost your confidence, really boost your mood, etc., etc. Anyway, I'm back for the Daily Digest, and today's video is about identity, but the identity that you must not hold dear. There are three main identities I'm going to talk about today. The first one is the family man identity. The second one is a fuckboy identity. And the third one is whatever career or profession you have as identity. Why they are not good identity to have? Because it's all externally driven. Meaning by that, you're losing your self-authorship. The moment you lose your self-authorship, you lose your autonomy. You have no sovereignty. You have no personal sovereignty, meaning by that, you're actually making yourselves a serf of whoever else you rely upon for that identity. All right. Let's start with a family man. Say you're a family man and you value family, nothing wrong with that. All right. However, the moment that your woman feel that you value family that strongly, whatever you value strongly, she'll use that against you whenever she has the leverage of doing that. And because she's part of the family, she will see how much are you going to be willing to take in terms of shit sandwich, etc., for you to protect that family. And by you holding on to the idea of the family man within inside the community, what's going to happen is you're going to hold dear. You're going to try and make sure that you're going to plug the holes that she creates and everything. But by doing so, you're conditioning her to continue and break the cycle. And because at the end of the day, it's like you are not in control of people and you're not in control of the past of your family. The best you can hope is to be with someone that values family as much as you do. Because if she values leverage, power, control, whatsoever, you are going to suffer because she will use the fact that you value family as a way to assert a power at your expense. So by you being a family man, what happens is that you are turning yourself into a future serf for her. That's why so many guys that want to protect the family are actually doing everything against protecting that family. And protecting that family means by that you need to have a power for deterrence. But if you have no deterrence because you're trying to protect the family as the first priority, what you're going to do is you're going to be trying to save everything. And by doing that, she'll feel that you can't leave. And if you can't leave, then she will try and get away with as much as possible. So that's for the first identity. The second identity is a fuckboy identity. When you're young and everything, you want to be that guy, the guy that fucks a lot of women. That's great. Yeah, and all this. And you take pride in it. Even when a girl calls you a fuckboy, you're like, oh yeah, I'm a fuckboy. Yeah, all this, right? Well, really, you're not doing yourself any favor. Why? Because you draw your identity from fucking woman. That's fucking dumb as fuck. It's not wrong to fuck women. It's fine. It's not a problem. However, when women realize that you draw a lot of your ego from you being successful with women, they'll make sure to shut the doors and they'll test you. They'll bait you. They'll do a lot of different things to see, oh, does he gain validation from getting positive signals from me? Okay, fine. I'm going to send him a rope and he's going to hang himself with it. Because at the end of the day, it's like she will use all of the validation or all the ego you get from getting them as a way to pull the rug. And then what happens? You get invested into a bitch, and then you just be like, "What the fuck?" Or you get invested in the chase, and then if you go through a whole period where you're not getting any chicks, it's going to put you in a tilt mode. It's going to put you down, and it's going to be a negative cycle. I know a guy that really took pride in that fuckboy identity, but what happened to him? He crashed out when he started to not getting any results, to the point where he just thought it's their problem, it's their problem, it's their problem. But really, it was his problem, because at the end of the day, he was so hell bent on one certain outcome, on getting that certain outcome a certain way. Then what happened is, when he didn't, he just thought it was like the world was against him, and it was like, no, you just got too massive an ego, and that ego is the downfall of you. The same way that the family man is ego invested in being that family man, that ego investment is going to be his downfall. Him is ego investment, the fuckboy, is getting with a lot of chicks. But then when he go into a trough, like every player goes through a trough, it will be much harder for him to recover from it, right? And at the same time, women will feel that and they will use that against him. All right. Third identity that you don't want to embrace too much is your career, your profession. I was a finance bro. I was a sales bro before. People label me as such because it was helpful for them to kind of put me in a box and everything. But I never really recognized myself in those boxes. Why? Because there's so much more than just whatever profession you are. And if you don't feel that you have more than just a profession, then you're really not interesting. You have the personality of a cardboard. And it's like, what value are you going to bring than just, oh, look at me, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm this, I'm that. One of the things, for example, that really shocked many people about me is, although I'm French, how many times I've had people that say, oh my God, for a French guy, you're actually quite cool. Yeah, because I extracted myself away from the French cliche. I mean, of course, I'm French in so many different ways. It's not me to deny myself, but is that displays other things. I knew myself to be someone from the values, the ethics, the principle that I have about myself. And that made me likable to some people, not necessarily to everyone. But really, it's about, who are you outside of your profession? So many times you'll find people that have built life around their profession. And when it comes to them losing that part, they lose themselves. And, I remember I was talking with my dad and he was telling me, like, so many people, when they retire, they get depressed. Why they get depressed is because they build their whole identity on whatever influence their profession gave them. But there was nothing else behind it. So whenever they went to retirement, they reflect upon themselves and they'd be like, hold on, but who am I? Who am I? And we're going back to self-authorship. If you don't have that self-authorship, you don't have any frame. You don't have any anchor to yourself. Everything is outsourced to a profession, to a woman, all that. And it's not sustainable. It's not healthy. And on top of that, you cannot generate that attraction that other people have towards you. All right. Let me give you an example. When you go on a date, for example, and actually, I'm going to do something extreme, right? Imagine you go on a date with a porn star, with a stripper, with one woman in an adult's work. What she wants is she wants to be seen in a way that has nothing to do with her work, because obviously her work is so out there that if you're going to be, oh my God, you're a porn star, you're a stripper and everything, what's going to happen is she'll be like, oh, you're like one of those other guys. You can't see behind the surface. You can't see the layers. And the person cannot be seen if you don't want to see their personality. The reality is most people don't even have an identity. You may not even have one. And it's like, when someone make you feel seen, it's because they know your identity better than you do. And then by that, they have even more power over you because they can define who you are more than you can. And when you appreciate what is your personality, what is your identity, then it's so much more easier for you to appreciate someone that may not necessarily be aware of that identity, but you make that identity a good reflection of themselves, and then they will really like you because you've done the work that they haven't. And then you'll create dependence loop from them to you. Obviously, whatever you do is a dependence loop, it is not a subject. But more importantly, if you want to be able to hold down a girl, hold down someone because they value you, not because you're trying to control them, they need to actually appreciate you for you. But in order for you to be appreciated for you, you need to understand who you are. And if you don't know who you are, then don't expect others to define that for you. It's most likely not going to be the case. I can't do that because I'm good with people, but most people actually are not good with people these days. So if ever you really want to actually do that work on yourself, to understand who you are, to understand what your value, what your principle, what you want out of life. Many guys don't know what they want out of life. Who you are, who are you going to be willing to tolerate, what you're aiming for, okay, what's your purpose? And you really want to understand, okay, well, what has been holding you back? Then I suggest you check my course, Masculine Method, because this is going to help you very much on that domain. And it will give you that peace of mind that you may not necessarily have, or it will actually clear the blurriness inside your head that stops you from asserting yourself. Anyway, on this one, I'll see you next time.